Hello and welcome to The Root of All Real Estate. I'm your host, Etienne Mellor, owner of 3 real estate agencies with 20 plus years of experience generating over 20 million in yearly gross revenue. I'm very happy to have you join us today. Whether you're a seasoned real estate agent, a business owner, a first-time home buyer, or just curious about the latest market trends, we've got something for everyone. Now let's get started.
You are listening to The Root of All Real Estate with Krzysztof Jankowski. Then I got into really more working real estate.
Okay, so let's start back a bit with this. So we've known each other since your very first day in real estate. Well,
pretty much, yeah.
You started at
we must have seen each other.
The agency where I was. So I was there maybe 5 years before.
Yeah.
And then
so we had to run into each other.
For sure, because I was always in the office. My office was a closet. It was not a.
Okay. I was there with the bullpen.
In the open part. Yeah.
Which is fine.
So then you. This is what 2000.
This is 2006 February.
Okay. Exactly, 5 years before I started. So after I started, then we met each other again many times, but mainly through committees.
Yeah, committees
with
of
the
association before it fused, becoming APCIQ, the IT committee or any other committees, whichever ones.
Well, you were on the political one too.
That too, yeah, at some point, exactly. Yeah, I like to get involved. I mean, I'm still involved with the Montreal West group, so we have events for brokers all the time, be it informational or just more schmoozing sessions.
Have you ever applied or went for the board of directors position, or?
I'm not allowed. Yeah, I'm not allowed as a teacher at the college, which is a subsidiary of the APCIQ. I'm not allowed.
Okay, so where does this being involved in the industry come from? Because you're a teacher, you're on these committees. Like, where does that come from? Because most are very happy just being a broker, doing their own thing. And
I mean, at some point, I was happy being a broker, and then I kind of was looking for something more. I mean, you get to your routines, and look, I don't have a wife and kids. So I have more free time.
No, but still.
It's something to give back, to hopefully be remembered in a good way, and hopefully, because I know our industry has some issues with the point of view how people perceive us. Mm-hmm. So the more I can impact, be either students or people who take the classes later on for they're changing and improve their way of doing things a little bit better. So we could be seen as a helpful tool rather than.
But you also, at the same time, had your own agencies. Like that comes from that. Is it the same?
I wanted to see how it's run and go through the process. So I still have the qualifications to do so. It's just if you're doing it for yourself or a few people, it's a lot of work for very little benefit. I think if one were to be a part of a bigger agency, a bigger group, I think family, community, I think would be better. Because then you can impact onto a
bigger amount of people.
Yeah, I think
so. It's the giving back part.
I think so. Because at some point, I've done okay financially. So overall, one looks for what else can I do, right? So of course, we all have to perform, right? We all have to do sales and whatever else, which is fine. But I've noticed that it takes very little to satisfy the basic needs. I mean, we work, we achieve, and then, what are we going to do for the rest of the year?
So that's the teaching part that comes in.
Yeah, I enjoy it because it's a continual thing. And also, like in real estate, if you're working on your own, you're alone most of the time, right? Most brokers are. Right? They rarely come into the office. It's
extremely lonely.
It is.
That's why I stopped being a broker and I wanted to do my chartered course, and I wanted to become an owner because to me it was too.
No, because you're always on your own. Yeah,
it's not about making money. I was doing pretty damn good, but it was like I want to do this with a team. I want to.
So motivations change over time, right? Or as we reach certain goals or goalposts, right? And overall, I mean, I like the idea of not necessarily correcting people, but a lot of people do things in incorrect ways. I mean, I'm not perfect either. I make mistakes. But the less we do, or the more better we perform, I think it's best for all.
And you're facilitating maybe the course of many lives that that you had to experience through trial and error.
Which is good in the teaching aspect. Is basically like give a lot of personal examples, and I know like I teach various classes at the college, so I can teach construction, drafting, financial, whatever, which is nice. So like basically whatever I do in my real life on daily basis, it's relatively easy to teach.
How's my son as a student? Has the class started yet?
It has started yet, but he's doing it on his own, right?
Yes.
So it takes a specific person to do so, because it's driven by sort of within, and that's actually in a way good, because if they do well in those, that means they can probably do well later on, right?
Yeah.
Because one of the things not a lot, but some people who come into our classes, especially back in the day, let's say during the pandemic, there was a big influx of people shifting from service industry, whether it be hotels or restaurants or transportation. Well, let's try real estate, right? I mean, a lot of people were always thinking about it, and they were shocked to hear that there is no paycheck.
I think the biggest thing is the discipline, especially the way he's doing it. You have to have that discipline, or else it's going to be very challenging. You can't just some people you can just push someone to do it. No, unless they want to do it themselves, they're not going to succeed. But you didn't answer my question. How's he doing?
So, to be honest, I don't remember his grade. So far, he handed in one project. Okay. One midterm.
Did you grade it yet or no?
I must have graded it because he's doing his second. He said he's going to hand it in today. So we'll see. I can let you know tomorrow. Good. And actually, I do want to pass by tomorrow again because I was supposed to bring in some non-perishable goods. And I did prepare a bag. Oh,
that's so nice.
Of course, it sits there on my staircase just before I left.
That's very nice. We're going to have many more days and weeks before
I figured, it's a good way to give back. And
Well, you're from the West Island.
Yeah, so I'm Point Claire, yeah.
So there you go. So we went last year. We started with the West Island Mission, and I went with the team, and you don't realize it. You live here, you think, everybody's doing very well, and it just blew my mind. We have a nice video on YouTube that's of that interview, and it's shocking.
I'm very saddened by the economic performance of our country. I personally don't think we're doing very well. There are some pockets that are doing okay, and some are not.
You know what surprises me? Well, surprise. Maybe it's not the right word. It's the production, the productivity levels.
It's gone down.
It's insane.
It's gone down. We're diverging from United States. We used to be like 80% as productive as they are. Now we're diverging, and that's not a good thing for our relationship.
And then on the weekend, I saw another on CNBC. It was an interview with I forget who it was, but they were talking about the number of men, more specifically, in their prime ages, 25 to 45.
Not looking for work.
No.
If you're here, it's because you're taking your career seriously. Etienne Mellor will help you get to that next level as long as you're willing to do the work to be able to get there. Now, whether you're a divorced person, whether you're retired, whether you just started out, you might be young, you might not think that you have what it takes to get to the next level, there's something here for everybody. So he'll take the time to show you the ropes, looking at it not as a teacher versus a student, but more as a partnership. And by doing that, you'll be able to get the results that you're looking for. He's always hands-on. He's always willing to do the work and to show you how it's supposed to be done. So it's not an opportunity that will last forever. Take the time, click below, fill out the form. Follow us and find out how we could be instrumental in your success.
Or
just doing their 35 hours?
Well, not even. I forget the percentage, but a substantial amount of able-bodied
men,
not
trying,
employed,
not fighting the battle in a way.
So if you're watching this, you can apply to become a real estate broker.
Well, people can apply to all things. Look, in today's world, I think anybody who's handy capable can get a job in 5 seconds. There's a shortage of laborers in every subset of our economy, and it's kind of sad.
I want to go back to teaching. You meet all these students. Have you seen a shift? Because you've been doing it for it's not your first time, your first year doing this. Have you seen a change in the future brokers, the personalities, the mindset? Because I have this theory that the shows on Netflix and it's affecting
HGTV.
It's affecting it in a wrong way. Where I think people coming in have the wrong impression of. Do you
what it
see
is.
that? Do you?
I think that's always been the case.
But there's more and more shows, right? So 10 years ago, there was maybe one show on HGTV. Yeah. Jay would know, but nowadays, I don't
No,
know.
we were bombarded by them, of course. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed watching those from time to time as well. But
But it's
you know,
entertainment.
I mean, it is entertainment. And like, let's take the show, not even real estate brokers, but you know, the shows when people do a flip.
Yes.
In half an hour, they've done everything, always on budget, and it always works out well. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've had clients who do. It doesn't always work out like
I've
that.
done a few myself.
So, but you know, it's TV, right?
So you're seeing that or not?
Well, when
or,
it comes,
or am I making this
no,
up?
no. When it comes to real estate, we always kind of get a different blend. We get some young. I think we've been getting a lot younger students who are looking for something to do, whereas a few years back we probably had on average somebody older secondary or tertiary career path. You know, as depending on what they're looking for to do, it's tough to average it out because it's always different. Every cohort, every class becomes its own subset.
But in the teachings that you do, you're not taking time. I mean, it's not you. The curriculum is someone else doing, I guess, or
well, the curriculum is set up by a mix of OASIC and the college. I guess.
But
they have
there's
to,
no preparing. Maybe is maybe the right word.
Well, we have a business class.
Oh, yeah?
That we're one of the few that actually offers like I call it a business plan class because that's really what it becomes. Is they have to basically sit down, either in class or on their own.
Yes.
They have to decide, okay, I'm starting my own business. And I tell them, okay, if you were a broker today, what would you do?
Oh, you give that?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay, good. So
So,
let's talk about that. Because but that's
Yeah.
that's a comment from all real estate brokers.
Yeah, they don't
agents.
know, they get thrown to the wolves.
And we always, the more experienced ones, we always talk and say, especially owners of agencies, directors, we're like, what are they learning? And I understand there's a big part that has to be the law and the theory, the theoretical stuff, the mechanics.
Well, it's what the OASIC says we must cover.
But is there any conversation as to maybe extend or add to the business development, the sales part?
It's grown a little bit for us already. I've encouraged actually at the beginning, even in the live class, we used to have just one session and then they were on their own. Now we have 4 sessions, so there's like more feedback, right?
That's good.
Which is good. I think people need that because a lot of people just don't know how to get started. Okay, I tell them, the project says, okay, choose one of the fictitious 3 agencies we've created, different features, right? Pick an area and tell us how you want to work, and they don't know. Because if they've never been in sales or working for their own.
Well, that's the thing. So then I'm looking at lawyers. And we talk about a lot the collaboration. Let's get better collaboration between agents, brokers. I'm saying agents because I don't want to restrict the content to our geographical area. But lawyers have courses. I was talking to a lawyer not that long ago, and I was asking this question. They are trained on how to exchange with each other. There's certain things. Just how do you interact with a colleague?
I've noticed that, in my own personal experience, I've noticed that certain agencies that, whether I walked in just for a meeting or meeting somebody else or whatever, I noticed there's some agencies that have very good interchangeable culture. I don't know how else to call it. Where they share, like when you go to their meeting, people are giving their own personal advice to help all the other ones in here. Because in reality, we're in sort of competition.
No, it's
so
left,
it's nice
it's right now, currently, or it's been for many years. It's left to the agencies to do that role, which I understand. But I think if the problem of the industry, or if we say our problem is collaboration, it should maybe be more like lawyers. Professional.
So I tell when they're students, when I'm doing my classes, because personally, I collaborate a lot with other brokers. Like, yes, there are some files I do on my own, but in general, I like to work with others. Like, again, it's more fun if you're actually together.
Well, anyone that comes here, more or less, and this is going to sound weird, but anybody that accepts this kind of stuff and that they want to share, they want to talk, they want to exchange, they want to collaborate, because that's what collaboration is, has that mindset. But unfortunately, it's the minority of...
Probably, because, in a way, part of it has to be also corrected because a lot of people who go into any sales or performance-driven industry, they're more lone wolf types. Again, that's my own opinion, should be what it may be.
I agree.
And it's kind of hard to get those people to share their trick of trade.
That's why I think that if we made it mandatory, then part of a course, like lawyers, then we wouldn't have this challenge of, because remember, you know this obviously, as an agency, the client is the broker and the public is the client of the broker, the agent. So I can't force someone. I mean, the OACIQ
You can impart as best as you can.
I can try to correct or help, but I can't force. So if you can't force or enforce, how am I supposed to make it then?
It would be
change?
nice if it came from within and you helped them do so. Yeah.
So I
give
came
them
up
the
with
tools.
an idea. Tell me what you think, because you got the network, you know people at the association. You know that I think that at the association level we should have our own police, not jail and but no. But where we police each other.
Well,
What do you think of that? You like it? I can tell.
Well, I mean, the OASIC already has that in a way.
No, but they're there to protect the public. I think we should
They didn't like it when I called them that once, actually, at a meeting last week.
So let's not talk about that.
But I like them. I like it. I always think people are, they're good, you know?
No, but what do you think of that?
See, I like the idea, but we would have to have a set of guidelines that major agencies or just everybody would agree on, and then we would have to sort of impart
At
it
the association level.
from the
I
APCIQ.
will volunteer to set that up.
It's not a bad idea. No, it's good. I mean, look. Okay. My idea. We always have to do those courses for the OASIC, right?
Yeah.
I have to do 24 points,
Yeah.
some 18, 20, whatever it is. Some of those courses could be created that basically enforce collaboration. Let's share. Like instead of me just talking for an hour and you get a point, you have to talk for 10 minutes and share with other students.
Okay, wait.
Like-
This
like-
might be a good idea, but I'm not trying to.
So, you will get points.
Yeah.
Same as everybody else. But usually when we go to those meetings, it's either online and you just click through it as quickly as you can just to get your point.
Yes.
Or you're watching an hour and so I'm done, right? But what if we have to, the student, or let's say instead of 100 in there, there's 10. And they have to share. Like they have to contribute.
Right. To get the point.
To get the point. All right, start with that. I mean, it forces.
It puts you and you have to do the action.
Puts you on the they would have to have an idea or something to share, because it's no longer me, the teacher, just going through point A, 1, 2, 3, whatever. No, it's you who has to contribute, and it could, the conversation could organically grow. Then others would, based on this, they respond, and so on and so on. Maybe that would help, and they still get their points, which is really what they want. But at least we get what we want too.
So we'll send that. Did you ever talk to?
No, I looked into getting was it certified or whatever? How you want?
Yes.
So you can create a course,
Right.
And there is a process for getting certified. I looked into it. I mean, checklist of how it's going to be done. OASIC is always looking for new courses.
Well, that'd be cool. And I'll sell it and I take 10%. We got a deal. Yeah. So what's the future for you? 5 years from now, what are you doing? Where are you? How's the business changed?
The business has changed a little bit. Obviously, everything changes. But I think real estate has always been an in-person type of business. So whether we have the virtual tools or not, I mean, very few people will, eBay model, click on buy a condo and move on, right? So I think there's always that, how you get along with your clientele. How can you, you as the individual broker.
Is that what you hope or that's what you believe?
Yeah.
Come on,
but people have to, you have to be a people person, right?
Yes.
So I think that's not going to change. How will that change in the future? I mean, we're going to get more tools, right? As we always do, virtual or online and whatever else. But every industry gets its upgrades.
And you to be kept challenged. What are you doing different, or if anything?
I think I would like to. Like I mentioned, there's a few agencies that are larger that have certain what I would consider right mentality and a process. Maybe become part of that in some way. Because obviously, if I'm.
But I offered you that, a few years ago. Do you remember?
Yeah, we had a conversation.
I think it was 2020 or 2021.
It was a few years ago, yeah. But everyone has to be ready for certain things, right? so I always listen, but I'm stubborn like most, or just set in my ways, right? So the ways have to change in order for it to fruit, I think. Okay. But I think it would be good. I've gotten older, the running around after business is not what it, not as necessary as before. Referral of business after a while becomes sort of routine.
But you mean like in a challenging way? It's no
Well,
longer.
because I think the challenging part would be, let's say working with you here, let's say for example, right?
This is an interview now. This is where we're at.
I'm interviewing you, you're interviewing me, right? Yeah. No, but basically, I mean, X amount of brokers, a big team, right? Multiple offices, right? It's not a job you can do on your own. That's why you have a team.
Right.
And the members of the team have to share. As a CEO, you have to have a certain vision, right? Like I'm used to, it's from a different perspective. My family in Poland, they're in the cinema business.
Like,
So-
it's like they operate movie theaters? Or
Yeah,
they're
they
doing
own and
production?
operate movie theaters, and they do some of that too, the distribution and everything else. They've been, they started with one cinema after communism fell, and now they're the market leader.
Really?
400, 500 screens, I don't know, many.
Wow, that's huge.
So, basically being, I mean, I see how the owner manages things when I'm there, when I go visit family, right? So if the core team is strong and shares a vision, then that could be propagated then to the satellite offices or cinemas or whatever else, and to be run in the correct way.
Yeah.
Because ultimately we're all serving clients. I mean, whether they're brokers or the brokers serving the public, it needs to be in the right mindset. Because obviously, we all have to make money, we all have bills to pay, but the message should be that we're here to help, we're assisting. Yes, we are the professionals in this field, and people should be happy to hire us.
Yes.
Because I find in Quebec that's always been a bit of a troublesome task, because we've always had like the FISBO's 50-50, and now I think it's shifted more to broker. But other jurisdictions around the world, it's 95%, 99% broker, and 1% trying to do it on their own. They understand that this is part of society, and we are there to help and navigate the laws and everything else. I wish the OASIC would sell that message better.
To the public.
To the public. Because, I mean, they've instituted some changes lately with
Yes.
and it's still a bit confusing to brokers and especially to the public. Am I representing you if you come to me directly or not, etc. It's very much.
I think we have an issue of participation. As you mentioned it, you said most people getting into real estate come from sales background. They have this mentality of me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
But I think if we did more of these types of activities, if we got to know each other better, if we participated higher in the, I was on the association for many years. The rate of participation is just blew my mind. Like how can we do anything if we're just a small tiny percent of brokers that want to get together and change things or think about the future or make it better,
see, again, we can't force them to show up, right? Like you can't, but I mean,
we're in the position of being in control, yet we don't. Maybe
this is
don't want.
where we, let's say, at the Montreal West Group, right? We the last session we had last week was informational session, like a brunch, and for foundation repairs and certain things. Laval, actually next week or the week after that, they're doing something similar for inspectors and how important inspectors are in part of the process.
Okay.
Which is nice. At least they're targeting the brokers and selling the message. Or if there's a foundation problem, people will, I went to the session, it's good. It gives me some ideas who to contact, etc. Because things come up, and we know there's no such thing as a perfect house, right?
No.
And I think we should push that more. And also, like events, even like social events, a very low percentage shows up. I don't know, for whatever reason. We offer events, etc. Even at the college for brokers, we can come in and, let's say, if you have mostly residential brokers, we can bring in a session for doing the commercial training, or vice versa. The college does have that.
My theory on that is that brokers are struggling so much for their own to fulfill their basic needs. That's my theory. If you cannot take care of yourself and your family, it's hard to think about others
Elsewhere,
in the community
yeah.
and or the association.
This is,
level.
I'm kind of not happy that we live in a credit economy. Too much so, I think. People are indebted too much. 180% of people's gross income is consumer debt nowadays, not including real estate. I think that's That's a ridiculous percentage.
Well, it depends what the debt is used for, but yes, mainly if it's just for
Usually, you know, I mean, for whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I know cars are part of that, so it could be, but still, it's cars have gone up in value, so it's harder. But more and more, I've noticed. I mean, again, hearsay or what I see from the average person is having more trouble just covering their basics.
Yeah.
And
No, but that's why I think it's
no,
hard to think of, hey, let's get together and think of something else.
Yeah.
If you can't meet your basic or your immediate family
Very
needs,
true.
your mind is not on that. I truly believe that that's the
No,
problem.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Look, I really appreciate you coming by and taking the time to chat with us.
pleasure.
I think that we should continue the conversation. You're always welcome here anytime
Thank you.
when you're in the area or at our Westmount office. If someone wants to reach out to you, you're still doing real estate. You're doing. You have your full license, commercial and residential.
Commercial, residential, and
Geographically, you don't restrict yourself.
No, I've gone as far as La Macasa and Bromont.
Don't know what that is, but sounds beautiful.
Passe Mont Tremblant.
Thanks again.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.